treated, with treatment being cheaply available, with no public health emergency at all, and with tyranny lapping at our heels. Rise up, go on the offensive. Go to every school board meeting, even if you're scared. Go to every city council meeting, even if you've never spoken publicly. Rise up, do it in anger, or do it in humor, but do it. Join the Citizen Court at aflds.org and read the legal papers. Must rise up. Now, I opened the video to show you what is at stake. There is no situation where a doctor, a lawyer, and I'm not patting myself on the back, but that does show an unusual degree of self-discipline and control. There's no situation where such a person who takes care of patients on the front lines in the emergency room, who speaks publicly like this, would ever need to be arrested by 20 officers and 12 guns.
Yeah!
I showed you that video because you need to understand that if you don't rise up, you're next.
Right! Right.
Life is not all grim. A big part of our task is to bring back the joy and normalcy. One of the things I learned when I was a little girl in the communist nations is everyone they varied from just mildly unhappy to miserable. It's really difficult to fight when those are your emotions. You must do this with joy. You must do it because if you're not joyful, it won't affect others to get into the fight. So you actually have an obligation to everyone else to do this with joy and in humor. So we can fight aggressively with righteousness and anger, but you can also fight with humor. So I'm going to show you another short video to encourage you to have fun with all of the many ways that you can refuse tyranny. So, recently I saw a short video of celebrities. I don't know I think it was on TikTok, which I'm not usually on, but let me know if this is familiar to any of you. You know, the celebrities, those are the deities before the public health deities. People like J-Lo, Lady Gaga, De Niro. They were pushing yet another unnecessary and expensive measure on humanity. Preying yet again on fear, they are promoting a business that charges many thousands of dollars a year to reassure people that rigorous safety standards have been met so that life is safe. Has anybody seen this video? A couple of people, right? I watched this and it's wrong on so many levels. First of all, they're pushing fear. Second of all, they're pushing the fact that life can't be normal unless you pay some entity something. You don't know the entity, you don't know the people. And if enough people do that, I can see that that's going to then become a regulation that a small business is going to have to suffer the price. So I hated that. I thought it was evil, basically. So it was like tyranny 101 before we get to tyranny 5.0, which is practically where we are. So this video was ensuring people that if they paid X amount of dollars, their business would be safe and people could safely go in. So a friend of mine, a doctor, went in and she went on the line or however she did it, and she found out what it would cost. So she's a doctor and she has 4 small office cubicles and it's 1,100 square feet. So the fee to certify her office as safe for 1,100 square feet for the low price of $4,200 a year. Right? That's crazy. And then you get a sticker saying that this is the well safety, the well safety seal. It was this is safe. You can go in here safe. Right? So I was oh my God, we gotta do something about that. So these are various ways you can rise up. You can rise up in humor. Censored again. Is that you can have fun with it. It doesn't have to be all grim, okay? Have fun with it, push back in your own lives. Stand tall, you're not crazy. They've tried to tell you for a year and a half that you're the crazy ones. You're not. You're not. Everything that I've said today, fact check, reference with links to the CDC and the FDA and the NIH, it's all there, it's all true, it's all factual. Please come and join us. And I thank you so much for your support. And I will take maybe 5 questions, because there's too many of you to take questions from everybody. Yes?
Is it true that
nothing, the thrust of what you're saying is true that it wasn't Fauci, but it's a good enough story to repeat. And it happens to be one that's near and dear to my heart because it's one of the first ways I got into this fight, so I'm glad you know about it. So there were a ton of studies showing that hydroxychloroquine didn't work, it was unsafe. It was very, very bizarre as it was all unfolding. You probably heard of the one in the Lancet, it ended up getting retracted. To have something retracted in the Lancet is like, I mean, it's once in a lifetime. It doesn't happen. The reason is there's so many layers of checking, check. It's like impossible to happen by accident. So that was just dramatic. That was complete fraud. It wasn't a mistake. It wasn't like an erroneous conclusion. The reason we know that one was completely fraudulent is they said they had like 90 or 95,000 patients across 5 continents. I mean, the lie they told was such a mathematically impossible gargantuan task that people pieced it together pretty quickly. New England Journal of Medicine, it was the same group, so that was fraud. But the third most famous medical journal in the world, arguably, is JAMA, Journal of the American Medical Association. Journal of the American Medical Association published an article back in April 26th or something, 2020, and the headline was something like, chloroquine is not effective in SARS-2, something like that. Caught my eye because it was really dramatic. So in this study, which concluded, and had headlines all across the world, that chloroquine doesn't work in this like famous medical journal that everybody heard about, when you read the study, 3 things were obvious. One was, in the one group versus the other group, which is supposed to be about even, one group was older and sicker. It was like really, it was like, I forget exactly, 6 years difference, 9 years difference, it was a pretty substantial age difference. And they were sicker, they had like more comorbidities. That was problem number 1 with the study. Problem number 2, they actually didn't have anybody sign off on a bioethics board. That's a requirement for any trial. Any human trial for decades and decades, you have to have an ethics board sign off. That's not just signing like a one line. If you didn't have that, I think it's what led to problem number 3. Problem number 3, they gave the participants in the older, sicker cohort 2.5 times the lethal dose of chloroquine. As if that wasn't bad enough. So many people died that they had to halt that arm of the study. So imagine, let's make it real. This is grandma lying in a hospital bed who these 27 authored scientists killed. Okay? What was the fallout of this? The headline was that it doesn't work. Not that scientists overdosed grandma. Not that, you give 2.5 times the lethal dose of anything kills you. Right? Did you ever take 2.5 times the lethal dose of vodka, for example? Okay, you die. Okay? So, I mean, it wasn't surprising, but the headline, this was the kind of fraud I saw this year. So it wasn't Fauci, actually nothing to do with Fauci. The pressure is on the scientific journals to publish studies that coordinate with the big pharmaceutical companies. So they are very much pressured to do that. It's well known that they're pressured to do that, but this year brought it to a whole nother level.